little bit of a techno.
Yeah, techno.
Politic
yeah, get out your glow sticks, America.
Exactly. Now back to our top story this morning and President Obama's long-anticipated speech that ended the Democratic convention.
Indeed. ABC senior Washington editor Rick Klein is live this morning in Charlotte for us. And Rick, we know that going second can be an advantage because you get to kind of retort everything that was said earlier. But was incumbency an advantage last night for the sitting president?
Incumbency is the biggest advantage that the president has in running for re-election by its nature. But I'll tell you, it was weighing all over this arena throughout the week, and particularly in President Obama's acceptance speech, the big anticipated moment, because the promise of what he offered 4 years ago was everywhere to be seen. The adoring crowds, all of the big rhetoric. It was hard for him to reach back into that bag of tricks, knowing that he's been in office for 4 years. It's a lot harder to ask for hope and change when you brought that change already, or at least ostensibly. You're holding the White House, so very hard to fire up your supporters when you're already the occupant of the White House.
Some critics will say that there wasn't enough meat and potatoes, not enough substance in the speech, and that it was several speeches kind of jammed into one. Where did he hit his stride?
Look, he told people not to be cynical, but this is a nation right now of skeptics, and they want answers from President Obama. A lot of disappointment out there, not just about the economy, but also about promises that he made about changing the style of politics in this nation, specific issues that a lot of these delegates cared quite a bit about. They're ready to fight for him, but they also want to hear what went wrong over the last couple of years and what he can offer for the future. So we started to hear that tonight, but by no means did he close the deal. He still left a lot of unanswered questions about why it was that people went out there and fought for hope and change 4 years ago and still have just a taste of disappointment in their mouths today.
And really what struck me about the speech, Rick, was how hard the president went after Romney and Ryan on the issue of foreign policy. One, because it was, to me at least, the most partisan part of the speech. And then two, really the focus for the country is the economy, not necessarily foreign policy. Were you surprised by that as well? And do you think that was an effective part of the speech?
He was almost rubbing in the fact that he's the president and that they aren't. Of course, 4 years ago, he didn't have any more experience than they have now. But he listed every gaffe, every foible that Mitt Romney has uttered around foreign policy, around national security, even bringing up the headlines that Mitt Romney got when he went over to London and seemed to insult the British over the preparations for the Olympics. So he's pressing his advantage when it comes to being the president, to being the commander-in-chief. But you're right, to a lot of folks who really care about the economy and jobs first and foremost, to hear that partisan rhetoric in the areas of foreign policy, it may have just had a bit of a tin ear.
I think a lot of people are really anticipating that first presidential debate in Denver, Colorado, 26 days from now, October 3rd. But what is next for both campaigns moving forward, Rick?
Oddly enough, it's back to where they started. Both campaigns are going to be in Iowa and New Hampshire later today. Both of the early primary states. It's sort of emblematic of this so close election. It's been tied for months. We're back right where we started, literally.
All right. Great insight, as always.
We appreciate it, Rick. Thank you very much. And maybe this line to me summed it up last night. He says, the choice you face won't just be between two candidates or two parties. It will be a choice between two different paths for America, a choice between two fundamentally different visions for the future. So a speech light on details, light on policy, but trying to say, I have this vision, the other guys have this one, and you all decide. So kind of a broader appeal to the voters. And again, independents are critical, only 6 to 8%. That's a small slither of the country they're trying to reach out to. So we'll see.